FedEx full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit, that is K-Dot, and this episode begins with thanks for watching, which you are doing right now, and you are going to continue watching as you are welcomed to the show.
And we do this, and fuck off.
This episode is officially
being recorded at midnight.
Welcome to the off season. It's a special night as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. But it is the off season episode 1. And so what we wanted to do is level set with you guys. Who is under contract for the Washington Commanders so far? Free agency right around the corner. It's going to begin on Monday, March 10th unofficially, or 9th, unofficially. And then I believe it's Wednesday, March 11th, that you then get to the official signings of these players. So what we're doing is Commanders under contract. What are our biggest needs? And if you are solving those problems with free agency, who are you looking to get, realistically speaking? So we're going to go through all that in the comment mailbag as we always do. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just refreshed it. But yeah, share this shit. Share this shit. Share it. The shit. Share.
We greatly appreciate you guys. And before we begin this episode, just want to say, like I said, it was a special night. It is a special night and a very, very, very happy birthday to my co-host,
God damn it,
K-Dot over here. I won't give the government name, but happy birthday, brother. I love you. I love doing this podcast with you. Can't wait to do this episode, but you know what? You're just the fucking man. So just wanted to say that before we begin this episode. Any words here before we continue?
I appreciate it. I thought I did a good job hiding my birthday from everybody.
No, I know everything, and including the content to come, because I'm probably going to dominate this episode while K-Dot's slipping. Let's go ahead and talk about the Washington Commanders coming up this season. So there are a certain number of players under contract. And the question is, right, once we get to the offseason, well, who is under contract? Who is not under contract? That's important because when you have discussions about free agency, about the draft, it's important to have this information. So we're here to educate you on that. We're here to be your cheat sheet on that so that when you talk to your friends, your family members, etc., you're already good to go. So let's go ahead and begin with the quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, obviously under contract. Sam Hartman, the only other one, right? So maybe we're looking for a backup quarterback this coming season. David Blau, in his intro presser, blatantly said one running back under contract. That's going to be Bill Krosky-Merritt. And that is it. The wide receivers under contract, that's going to be Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, Terry McLaurin of note. There are 4 others. That's going to be Jacoby Jones, Ja'Cory Brooks, Nick Nash, if you've heard of him. K-Dot has, of course. I have, of course.
Great name.
Lawrence Cager, great name. But if you haven't, there are 3 of note going into this next season. The tight ends you're well familiar with. That's going to be Ben Sinnott, 2nd round pick in 2024. John Bates, 3-year, $21 million deal, entering the 2nd year of that. And then Colson Yankoff, an undrafted free agent who has grinded his way onto this roster and has had some meaningful contributions. Then on the offensive line, it's Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. That's it. Right tackle, Josh Connerly. That's it. And then we have a number of guards in Brandon Coleman, Nick Allegretti, Sam Cosmi, of course, being the big name over there. And then a few guys just in depth. That's going to be Julian Goods-Jones. It's going to be Tyler Cooper, Tim McKay. And then this name I cannot pronounce. I'm looking at it right now. Maliasala Amueve Laulu. If he plays a role in this next season, we're probably in trouble. Okay, but that's just the other guy over there.
Racist.
Have you heard of him?
No, I can't say.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, why don't you check yourself over there? Okay, it's typical.
He ain't no Nick Nash. That's American.
Long snapper Nick Bellore. Okay. So that's the offensive side of the ball. As we get to the defensive side, let's go ahead and work with the defensive line over here. So, of course, we've got Johnny Newton. We've got Javon Kinlaw. We've got Deron Payne. That is the subject of conversation, right? If you cut Deron Payne, you save $17 million. Do we do that? We will see. But then you also have other people like Ricky Barber, who had a nice sack against the Dallas Cowboys. And I believe that's it. Dorrance Armstrong, of course. That was the other name, the big name, right? He's coming off of injury. We'll see what happens over there. Edge rushers, we've only got 3, Dorrance being one of them. And then it's Javonte John Baptiste, who missed the season, and Andre Carter the second. Okay, so that's it. So once again, and Dan Quinn has mentioned this, he's looking for edge rusher over here. The corners, let's just jump to the corners. We'll go to the linebackers right after that. The main ones of note, that's Mike Sanders still, that's Marshawn Lattimore. You save $18.5 million if you cut Marshawn Lattimore. We anticipate that happening, just letting you know that's probably what's going to happen. And then Trey Amos. The other ones are Carlin Viggers, Rob McDaniel, Trey Hawkins III, Quantrez Knight. Those are the other corners over there. And then the linebackers, Bobby Wagner, not under contract right now. He is a free agent. Do we bring him back? Jordan McGee, that's the big name. Young, athletic. Durante Jones talked about it. Frankie Louvu, is he a bit of an edge rusher? Is he just going to be your weak side linebacker as he's always been? The will, right? Like, is that going to be him? Kane Madrano, he was shouted out in Durante Jones presser over there. And then Ali Cajo, TJ Magaranyanga. Like, these are the guys over there. And then the safety position, actually kind of deep. I know I like Caleb Downs, and I know a lot of Commanders fans like Caleb Downs. We got a lot under contract. Tyler Owens, Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves, Quan Martin, Will Harris, and you've heard of all of them. And that sums up all the Commanders under contract. Tyler Biadasz, sorry, you're the center. You're the starting center. You continue to be the starting center. And that now covers everybody over there. Kid, did I miss anybody?
Jake Moody? Did you say Moody?
I did not say Jake Moody because I don't think he's under contract. Neither is Traylon Burks, which is another name that comes to mind for folks because they were like, "Oh, you don't want to pick him up."
They paid him like a grip or whatever. That was like a whole thing.
Whatever.
I don't know.
A whole point. Sorry, it was a bit of a laundry list. But it's important that you know those things just because you get a general sense of the numbers.
And you hit the important names anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about our biggest positions of need now, K-Dot. Now that we've gotten through the laundry list of those names under contract, my question to you is, given that, right? Mm-hmm. Given those names that you've heard, given what you know about what David Blau wants to do on offense, given what you know about what Durante Jones wants to do on defense, Dan Quinn entering year 3, Adam Peters entering year 3, what are the positions of need to you? 2 or 3 of them?
I want to say all of them. Since I can't say all of them, we'll go with the one that comes back from last year, edge rush. That's probably going to be number 1 in everybody's heart. Or I'm not just doing offense because I know you specifically said David Blau's name, but anything it goes. It's going to be edge. I think edge has got to be number 1 in everybody's list. And as much as I do like Dorrance Armstrong, as much as I do like even the idea like bringing back a Dietrich Wise or something, they need somebody special as far as an edge rusher. They need somebody that they don't need to game plan for. Just go make something happen, okay? Like, we haven't had one of those guys in a very long time. So that's going to be a huge need, I think. Outside of that, it also depends on like what's going on as far as like some of these other signings go. Like, you'd look at the wide receiving core and say, all right, do you really want to go in there with those 3 that you said, and the other 3 who, depending on who you are, you've never heard of them. If that's to be the case, then like, all right, you got to have Jaden get some help, right? You got to have Jaden have some weapons that he's got to be able to throw to. That's the thing. Is like, I've been thinking about this ever since you posed the question. Is like, can I even come up with a top 3 position group? Because like when I looked at the roster, you used to look at safety, and you're like, all right, well, there are a lot of guys there. Maybe they think with new teaching, there's going to be some things that they can do there. Then as far as even the cornerback room, you could try to do some things in the cornerback room. But like, all right, if you got 2 starters at cornerback, is that really the biggest position in need? I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a lot we kind of need. But all right, if anybody's not a kind of linebacker, edge, and Wide receiver.
Linebacker, edge, and wide receiver.
Not in that order, but yeah.
Okay. So we are quite fairly aligned. I almost, as I was doing this exercise, omitted edge because of so freaking it's so obvious, right? Like that is just like, even Dan Quinn has mentioned it, not only with the immediate, media press conferences that he's done, but also in radio calls that he's done and radio interviews where he's just like, hey, we're looking for someone on the edge. He's blatantly said it multiple times to multiple different sources, people, etc. So that is quite obvious. I've got linebacker. I've got wide receiver. I've also got tight end, specifically a pass catching tight end. So that's the only difference I have over there. Now, I know you're a big fan of Ben Sinnott, right? And I also like Ben Sinnott. Is he going to be the pass catching tight end? Or is he going to be and this is something we've talked about a bit off the air, the Kyle Juszczyk type that Adam Peters was hoping to get when he drafted him under the Cliff Kingsbury offense over here. So like, what are we getting? And there are a lot of interesting tight end options as we look to the free agents in just a moment, but those are my three. K-Dot, what's your reaction to that?
Tight end's definitely something that came across my mind. I think the wide receiver room, just because of how hurt it was by the end of the season, and then everybody got an opportunity to do that, and then knowing that like it feels as though everyone has basically like a foregone conclusion Deebo Samuel's gone. And if that's the case, then I look at that and I say, okay, well, I do think you get more bang for your buck at tight end because hopefully you get somebody that can like do dual roles. I think that's of great value. And as much as I am high on Luke McCaffrey, I am high on Jalen Ryan. I just think you need somebody to spell Terry. You need somebody that has just some sort of consistency to spell Terry. Like in 2024, you had that combination of like those guys who were just above board. You had the Diami, Noah, Olamide Zacchaeus group, which is like at any given moment, one of them would shine. Not all of them at the same time, but one of them would shine. I just think you need to have a secondary option. You need to have a second option for him that he can like go to, or at least somebody at least take some pressure off the defense and allow some guys like eat.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that. And matter of fact, I know Dan Quinn is preaching about edge, and that being the most important thing. I actually think wide receiver is the most important. As I'm looking at this roster, and a quick little summary on Terry McLaurin's contract is that this is, on barring a restructure, his last year with the team, right? So it's very, very important that we get, in my mind, K-Dot, Jaden's wide receiver one moving forward this offseason, right? So like you do end up seeing mock drafts with Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, like, these guys. I don't want to do that with the first round pick, right? But I am looking to free agency to see if we can potentially get that guy. I'm tired of the third, fourth round pick at wide receiver. That's Luke McCaffrey. That's Jalen Lane. You'd hope one of them like pops like for real by now, particularly Luke being the third rounder in his second year, but he gets hurt. So no fault of his, but like, are we doing that again? I don't know that we are. So we're going to look to free agency in just a moment, but that's just the way I think of it. On the subject of Deebo Samuel, we do incur a $12 million cap charge. It does sound like some salary cap does roll over from the prior season, so that should offset ultimately. But it's just important that you guys know that. We'll try and re-sign him, I suppose, but I don't think it's going to be as a wide receiver 2 again. It would probably be as a wide receiver 3 this time around. And once again, it would be important that we get that wide receiver 1A, B with Terry, or a wide receiver 2. Go ahead, Kid. You had a reaction, though, when I said that.
I think he could go get wide receiver 2 money somewhere.
I think he's going to.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we're going to get priced out of the Deebo market.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead, and we've already mentioned the positions of need, in our opinion, the biggest 2 to 3. So why don't we go ahead and talk about some of the free agents that we would sign, K-Dot, if free agency were the only thing.
See, I had the goddamn thing when he was just fucking motherfucker.
Well, he's getting older now, right? He's a year older. So like, these things happen. These things happen. But looking at the free agents for us, the Washington Commanders over here, who do you have at these positions, K-Dot?
So, okay. I'll do it in order that I think needs to happen, and I don't want to argue. It's my birthday. Number 1, Brandon Ayuk. Number 2, Trey Hendrickson. Number 3, Elijah Vera Tucker. That to me is your top 3 as far as from a priority standpoint. And I know number 3 is not the position I've had as far as like what was the biggest. It's just a matter of I'm looking at the roster and I'm saying if you want the wide receiver going towards the future, Ayuk to me makes sense, especially if you're trying to placate Jaden. If there's more, I don't know if you heard, but I know that I listened to that stupid fucking Chris Sims, Mike Florio bullshit, where they kept alluding to the fact that Jaden was a little more unhappy than maybe he's letting on and being. And if that's the case, then maybe I am a little more afraid than I've let on being, of making sure that he's placated at least a little bit. And if Brandon Ayuk can get his head out of his ass, he's a quality player. And we need wide receiver. And I'm looking through all of them, and everybody keeps on Alec Pierce and Christian Kirk or somebody else. And I'm looking at all of them, and I'm like, they don't quite make me feel the way that Brandon Ayuk does on this team. Just saying. I don't love it, but I do think that sometimes you got to put need over wants. Trey Hendrickson goes without saying. He's the best guy on the entire free agency board. If you can go and get him, you go and you get him. Especially with as much cap space as we got, and I think you do need to spend some right now. And Elijah Vera Tucker, that's on the list because he played both guard and tackle, and as you've said, we ain't got no tackles outside of the first 2. And if you know the NFL, there's a good chance you're going to have some injuries go down the line, so I like versatility, at least some guys that have proven that they can do it. So this is just pure me looking at a utilitarian aspect of things in the sense of these 3. Are they my top 3 in the sense of my favorite? No, but I do think that these 3 make sense.
Okay. So, and I'm glad you said all that because I meant to preface this entire thing with our own situation, right? So I'd mentioned the Commanders under contract. We are, as of right now, 5th in the NFL in cap space. The teams in front of us, the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the New York Jets. Funnily enough, that's 4 AFC teams. And then it's us. And then, fun fact, the very next team, the Seattle Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl. Hats off to them one more time. And they have all this cap space. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over there. Elijah Vera Tucker, I want to hone in on for a moment. He certainly has flexibility and versatility that Durante Jones has actually talked about on the defensive side of things, but we know we want it on our team overall.
Yeah.
He's going to cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Right. According to SpotTrack, his average annual value is hovering around 12 to 13 million. Mm-hmm. How do you envision that? Like, is he a backup? Is he a starter? Where do you see Elijah Vera Tucker on this team?
Anywhere he needs to be.
Right. So we already have Tunsil, we have Connerly, we have Cosme. Like, I guess
Connerly's not costing you anything. You as far as the rest of the offensive line, you probably want to restructure Biadash. I just like saying the that way. You're gonna probably let Allegretti walk, or cut. I guess not walk, cut him, because I think that's a few million.
I'll confirm. Go ahead.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm at a position or a point where I'm looking at this team and I'm seeing the injuries that came off last year. Like, you know what I also wanted to put on that list, and I very, very much almost did, was a quarterback. Because I like at the end of the day, I'm not trying to have this shit go down in which you can't bounce back from in any way, shape, or form. Not to mention, I do think that if you bring in Tucker, he's competing at one of the guard positions immediately, in my opinion. And if there's a chance of that, I also look at the other guys we have as far as the offensive line, be it Paul or anybody else, and say, I don't mind them being a backup if Tucker goes in and he beats them outright for the starting position. If you're looking at that from a salary cap standpoint, I think everybody sleeps a little bit better at night if he does beat somebody out, and one of the guys that we have in the line kind of takes a backseat.
Okay, interesting. So that's Elijah Vera Tucker. He immediately competes for either guard spot. I would assume Cosme's is locked in, but we had Chris Paul.
I don't think anyone's locked in, honestly. Like, because there's the other aspect of like what's going to happen as far as this offensive line and where it is they want to go as far as the offense, right? I think that they were designed, or they were trying to do a specific sort of thing when it came to the Cliff Kingsbury offense, and I think what they're going to be asked to do right now. So I just think that there's going to be a little more versatility. There's going to be a little more. I don't know. I'm not one to think that everything I've seen that I like necessarily offensive line. That I do think, as I've been saying this entire season, I feel good about. Right. I just think that when you're saying from a depth standpoint, you're in a position where if you miss out on one of these guys or one of these guys get hurt, you're kind of fucked.
That is, yes, that is true.
I know. It's a crazy fucking. My list is nuts.
No. I love it though. Just to be clear, like the reason I paused is because I guess I'm thinking about like how much. I was listening back to our episode where we played the preseason game against the New England Patriots, and I was very, very disappointed with the effort, and it made me think that the coaching wasn't good. So like I understand like or think about 1 through 53. Like that's super important to me.
Yeah.
With that being said, spending that much money on a potential starter versus an actual starter, I just want your thought process there. Or it just seems like a lot.
No one's going to agree with it. I don't give a shit. My point is that, like, right now, I got a quarterback that can't fucking stay healthy. I got a team that I think is on the brink of something. I got a team that I'm looking at from a depth standpoint. If you're going to let some of these guys walk, and I'm looking at Allegretti, even though I like Allegretti, I just think that from a standpoint of what you're getting from him, you're not going to do that. I do think it's important to have somebody else maybe come in there and compete as far as the offensive line. I would not mind that second guard position outside of Cosme, Paul, or anyone else that we've had fit in that role take a backseat to that guy. That's me. That's just my thing. I think it's a position group that you can bolster. I don't think that everybody's going to be on the same page with me. The same way I thought that the Ayuk thing. I think that I just named 3 fairly controversial guys that cost a lot of fucking money.
Well, let's talk about Brandon Ayuk because that is obviously a big name, right? Like that is somebody that has produced for San Francisco in the past, but very recently has had a falling out with the organization. I would highly recommend, if you guys have not listened to John Keim's interview with Nick Wagner, I believe is his name. It is an incredible listen. It provides both perspectives to the best of his ability. Right. But I think Nick does a really nice job going, this is what happened from Brandon's perspective. This is what happened from the Niners' perspective. And it sheds light on the whole situation. Brandon Ayuk coming over here is a very polarizing topic, right? Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know, Brandon Ayuk and Jaden Daniels are incredibly close. Some describe them as best friends. They were together in Arizona State in Jaden's freshman year of college. I think at that point, Ayuk goes to the pros. Jaden continues to have his college career, but they have stayed close. And you'll also remember last offseason, Brandon Ayuk was talking to Jaden Daniels about potentially coming to the Washington Commanders. We had the brief moment of, I think it was our practice that was out on the Twitter sphere and, social media and stuff like that. So they're clearly close. Walk us through that, K-Dot. Go ahead. Brandon Ayuk coming off, a pretty major injury as well. Why Ayuk number 1 of those?
I should also name that Elijah Barrett Tucker missed the entirety of last season, if you don't know, with the triceps injury. The Ayuk thing is that I'm looking through this wide receiver class as far as who's available free agency, and I think you've got a lot of dudes that I think people are kind of excited about, but I'm not quite excited about them. Like, I just think that there are some names that feel bigger than they might be. Like George Pickens goes without saying, but he ain't leaving Dallas. There's no chance I'm going to let him motherfucker leave Dallas. But, like, I'm not in love with Alec Pierce the way that everybody else is in love with Alec Pierce. I don't see it the same way that everybody else is seeing it. Like, I'm just looking at, like, even with the injury last year, but I look at the same way I looked at Debo for a certain portion of San Francisco, but I'm not quite going as far as the Ayuk. I just don't think you could trust anything you've seen from Ayuk in San Francisco the last 2 years going. I don't know what's bullshit. I don't know what's not bullshit. I don't know how much he's trying, how much he wasn't trying. It just seemed as though it was a non-starter. Like, it was just not going to happen. And I think that, like, looking at the Ayuk situation, as much as I don't like anything I really saw at San Francisco there at the end, I do think that Jaden could get something out of dude. And, like, if there's anybody in the wide receiver list that I see that, like, has at least shown me flashes outside of Pickens of being special at certain points, to me, it's kind of it. And, like, if you're looking at it from a contract standpoint, you're going to let Debo walk, or you let Debo go. Terry's here for 1 more year. You might want to spend some cash at the wide receiver position on the chance of something.
Yeah, and on the subject of Ayuk specifically, this seems to work for only us. And that's very, very important when understanding the economics of this whole thing, right? So because we know that, right? Like, it allows us to create a more team-friendly deal that I think Ayuk would probably take, assuming, and you got to listen to the Nick Wagner interview again with John Keim about like whether he even wants to play football and stuff like that. But this special relationship, and it is special, with Jaden is real. And I do think that it is a foregone conclusion in some people's minds that he is going to be a wide receiver over here. With that being said, that means that you can create a deal that is friendlier to our salary cap, right? And you're getting a very talented player in Brandon Ayuk, assuming he is bought in. With Jaden, the thought is he will be bought in, and Jaden is going to be the driving force that brings the best out of Brandon Ayuk that maybe other people cannot, right, across the NFL. Go ahead, Kiddo.
When I kept thinking about Ayuk, there's one guy I keep thinking about that played last year that keeps popping in my head. Like every time I think about Brandon Ayuk in this situation, it's Darren Waller. And Waller, I don't know if anybody was paying attention to what he was doing in Miami. Like,
I'll get to it with the tight ends. Go ahead.
Brother, he was dogging shit. But it was like you see him like he leaves. What did he like? He fucked up the relationship with Kelsey Plum, dumbass, and then wanted to have a rap career and like I don't love football anymore. And then he finds the right spot and he woke up and there was like, what the fuck? How'd they let this guy just show up? Like look, man, if you were to sound like if I'm a betting man, do I think the IU thing will completely work out? Probably not. But I do think like looking at it, if I'm looking over the entire scope of things, it's a move I'd make. It's just a move I'd make now. I just think looking at the entire landscape, everything, I do think you got a chance of making something work, and I'm with you. I do think you got to get a deal. I don't think anybody wants Ayuk right now.
Yeah, that's the intriguing part of this whole thing, right? He is an incredibly talented individual. Like, there's no one questioning the talent, and cannot at least
some people are. Some people. I think
the talent. No,
well, at least he's injured enough where we won't see it again.
Sure.
Okay.
And that would also be part of an incentive-laden deal, right? Like that you go, hey, so it can work, probably would work, right? Like as a low-risk deal over here. There are questions about the chemistry of the whole team in particular. Like I understand why this is a polarizing topic, is what I'm trying to say.
Take the kid. Don't give a shit. Like I think going into this offseason, I told you that I want to take some shots. Like, I want to spend this particular offseason. I want to do some shit this particular offseason. I want to take some chances here in this particular offseason. I think this is the opportunity to do it. I think if you see, in my brain, I'm willing to spend major money, as you see how batshit crazy the Elijah Vera Tucker thing for a potential backup might be, right? But the idea would be, like, when I'm looking at the Ayuk thing, this is one of those things where, like, if I can look at somebody that has a certain level of talent and they got a discount tag on them, and I already want to spend some cash, I don't mind adding that to the fucking grocery cart. Like that's where I'm at. Like that's where, like if I can find a good deal on something, some damaged goods here and there, I believe in this locker room. And more than anything, what I do believe in is I believe in Jaden Daniels, in his leadership ability, especially with somebody as close as he is with them. Does that mean that there's a potential for other chemistry issues within the rest of the wide receiver room? Probably, but it's something that Jaden needs to learn. It's something that Jaden needs to be able to navigate. So, like, there's some, as much as I look at that situation, I'm like, I think I had this mindset that it was just placating him for the sake of placating him. I think there are these other unique challenges that present themselves. And I also think there's a good chance the only reason they would sign him is if Jaden vouched for him. And with that comes, brother, as you're going to navigate through this league, there'll be some people you vouch for, some people you don't vouch for. You're going to take this personally, you're going to make sure this fucking works. So there's a mental aspect that, like, I think drives it to trying to work, or at least making sure that there's no stone left unturned. And if there isn't, I don't think if it goes bad, I don't think Jaden or anybody else can say, all right, well, fuck it, man. Dude, we tried. Fuck this. Right. And I'm down with it. I think that I really do believe that this team is, like, primed for something. And, like, I do think you got to take some shots right now.
Right. And Ian Rappaport from NFL Network said as much, that he would expect some fireworks considering the position that the Washington Commanders are in right now. And this does represent, so just to paint a picture for everybody, like if you did get Brandon Ayuk and you did get the team-friendly deal, let's say, and this is on the outer end of it, like a 1 year, $12 million incentive
God.
laden deal. That's
God.
probably high, right? Like it may end up being less than that, right? And then you still have cap space to be able to go somewhere else and be able to fill other needs. And you've already got this relationship with Jaden Daniels, right? Like there is absolute appeal with it. So sorry, I know I've gone back and forth with Kid. I'm just trying to explain the situation, but it is so nuanced and there is so much to it that I think it's important to do.
Bro,
And trust me, I'm excited by it, Kid. Like the idea that the upside is tremendous.
Look, if what I wanted to do initially when I thought about this today, because I was in the car for a very long time. When I was in the car today, I was going to come on here. I shouldn't do that because I might spoil yours. But maybe we were lockstep. Maybe this would be interesting. I was gonna say Kyle Pitts, Devin Lloyd. And, I was worried about. I was trying to figure out the third name. I was probably just gonna put Trey Hendrickson in there. But those are my top two, really. But I'm looking at it. I'm just like, how do I want to bulletproof this thing? If I actually do believe Washington can go on a run, like I think Washington can go on a legitimate run. What are the batshit things that I could take a look back on over this? Like from a storyboard standpoint, and say, oh, they took a shot there. Not to say that if we start doing this GM thing, all the names I said are probably going to come here on my fucking anyway. But it's like, I mean, as a matter of fact, the name that I'm in the least in love with of anyone I've named so far is Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, and I think that's fair because Trey Hendrickson now on the other side of 30. Right? Like he is going to cost a lot of money. So I understand an edge rusher in particular is just an expensive position, right? Like it is tough to figure out which one's going to be the best one, but Trey Hendrickson does have the pedigree and he does finally have the opportunity to leave Cincinnati. I'm sure what they point to prove in a chip on his shoulder as well. Okay, I know, and so I'll start mentioning mine over here because I don't have anything to say about Trey Hendrickson once again. Like I do think that if we were to sign him, it would be considered an overpay, but like I think he would get the job done. Like I think he would be very, very good and it'd be awesome.
He's the number one free agent in this class.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to have him over here, and that would certainly classify as fireworks, as according to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network. Alec Pierce is somebody that I would love to have over here. And I know that people are going to see that he had under 50 catches last season, but he is the first wide receiver to average over 20 yards a catch and go over 1,000 yards since A.J. Brown in 2019. He also did this with Michael Pittman being alongside him here and there over the course of the season, who just signed a 3-year, $70 million deal, and they also have to sign Daniel Jones. It sounds like they're going to try and do that. So that means a franchise tag probably not happening for Alec Pierce because they would have to pay him $28 million. Alec Pierce can do it with any quarterback. He has had monster games with Daniel Jones. He's had monster games with Phillip Rivers, and he's had monster games with Riley Leonard. Like the guy is the perfect sort of profile, and I think would be excellent for the Commanders moving forward. If we want to move to more play action, deep threat stuff, this is your guy, right? Like he is 25 years old. He is 6'3", 215. He runs. He's super fast. Like I think he runs a 4.4, maybe a sub 4.4. Like this guy has what it takes to be a wide receiver one in the NFL. When I think back to what we have had from the Indianapolis Colts, as Pierre Garçon, like, so there's a little bit of a pull for me over there. Like I really think Alec Pierce is somebody that is going to emerge if given the opportunity. He has not played with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels before. In the play action game, I do think it's very exciting, and he is a pretty decent blocker as well. Like I think this guy is worth the money. I think he's going to end up getting wide receiver one money, just to be clear. But I think it's worth it, K-Dot. So I really, really like Alec Pierce as the number one option, with Brandon Ayuk as the number two option, given the relationship to Jaden Daniels. It may be more economically sound to take Brandon Ayuk, but Alec Pierce is the guy I'm projecting, no injuries, like to be the guy. And it gives us flexibility in case Terry gets hurt. Well, it's okay. We got Alec. Like that's what I'm thinking, K-Dot.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What a
Like,
reaction.
I. So, there's no denying he's got the size and the physicality to like make things happen, especially at deep threat. The numbers prove it. Like he led the league, like you said, he led the league in 2024, 22.4, and then he had 21 average last year. It's like he's right there. Um. Okay. This I'm gonna sound like a fucking hating ass bitch. Number one, I don't like the idea of having two scrappers at the wide receiving room in my team. Just put that out there for foremost. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, beyond that,
This is the first time I've vouched for a scrapper, just to be clear.
All I'm saying, I don't like the idea of our guys going against
You were
the
the
Eagles
guy
guys.
that you were.
Can you imagine that?
The other
We got
you
two.
Were the guy that liked the other.
I'm
scrapper.
just saying.
I never vouched for the other scrapper.
But I got the other. I like the scrapper. But like I'm saying,
I like this scrapper.
You like this scrapper more than the other scrapper?
Yes.
Oh, F that, man. I'm riding down with my boy, all right? LMC, bitch. All right, so like but the idea of like we have two scrappers and we know what the Eagles got as far as the scrappers, and then it becomes a conversation of the scrappers just going at it. I don't want that. So like beyond that, it's just too much like Collinsworth just going just like I can't deal. So like but on the other side of that, I do think that there's an element of when I look at those numbers, and I know, look, Mark Bullock even did it. There's no getting around it, and like even it proved me wrong. I think to some degree when I actually did read about it. What I usually think about Alec Pierce, and what I think about Alec Pierce is no defense gave a shit from a secondary standpoint. It was about stopping Jonathan Taylor, and they also didn't think the quarterbacks could throw that fucking far, which is kind of true. But like Alec Pierce is one of those dudes who like, fuck it. He's 6 foot something, can run fast, and he's down there. So like, I just think that if what I pull back is like if he's a number one receiver, like a true number one receiver, I just don't think he's getting what he's getting right now in Indianapolis. I just think the feed is kind of good right now if you got some physicality aspect with Indianapolis, and I do think next year if they do re-sign Daniel Jones, they got to do that.
Well, if I could just interject for a moment, please. Again. Michael Pittman's on a 3-year, $70 million deal, right? So they're already paying a wide receiver quite recently and a young one at that. So like that's important.
He's good. I like
and he's good. I like Michael Pittman as well. By the way, his contract's up. That is somebody that could also be potentially signed, right? Then there's Daniel Jones, we know how hard it is to find a quarterback, right? Given what Sam Darnold just did with the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like the Colts are going to go, well, with Daniel Jones, we had one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL this century, right? Yeah. Then he gets hurt, but like we want him back. Worst case, I think they franchise him because maybe other teams are sniffing around as well. So when I see that financial situation for the Colts, I do think that Alec's going to be at minimum on the market for a day.
Oh, right? I agree with that. I think he's going to be available.
And so, yeah, I just want to see. I think our biggest competition is going to be the Raiders and the Bills, right? I know the Bills don't necessarily have the cap space, but who knows about the cap, right, and how it works. But the Raiders are going to be – they always spend on this type of player. Like, it's just – I don't know. Like, the wide receiver, the number one wide receiver in the market, I could see them doing that.
I was saying, if you had to name 3 franchises that really like scrappy receivers, those are 2 of the top 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Throw New England in that motherfucker. He's straight. And they should be in the market.
They should. Yes, that's another. So anyway.
I think there's a good chance I might be wrong on the Alec Pierce thing. It was just like the entire time that I've seen him in Indianapolis, there's just certain things I don't trust. I really do think the thing that makes everything go there is just Jonathan Taylor. And I think
agree with underrated. That, by the way.
Yeah.
And I just think he's being underrated on him.
And that's my thing. And the other part that I don't think a lot of people talk about is also what they had to do from a safety standpoint, because they also got a dude that doesn't get talked about enough on that offense, and that's Tyler Warren.
Yeah. No, Tyler Warren's fantastic. I'm a more casual Penn State fan, but like watched enough of Tyler Warren to know that dude is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And they didn't use him as much as they could have. Like he could have been out there doing Brock Bowers type shit. It would be beyond that. But it's like, but I'm rooting for Alec Pierce. If he ends up here, I'm being the tank for him.
Yeah. No. So Alec Pierce is my number one in free agency specifically. Okay. Then let's continue with the pass catchers, right? I'd also mentioned a tight end.
Do it.
It's not Kyle Pitts.
Mother.
It's not Kyle Pitts, who I do think is going to get a franchise tag, by the way. That's the reason I'm not mentioning him, but the main reason I'm not mentioning him. I think Isaiah Likely is going to be available, and I think he would be excellent for this offense, right? So, like, with Ben Sinnott, with John Bates, you already have John Bates is an excellent blocker. We know that. I think Ben Sinnott, over the course of time, listening to your all 22s, listening to what the offense has wanted, I think he's gotten better at blocking, and I think he was already fine at blocking, right? So he's gotten even better at that. When it comes to a pass catcher, when it comes to a dynamic player, I think Isaiah Likely fits that mold, and he himself has gotten better at blocking as well. So I think Isaiah Likely would be a fantastic addition to this Commanders locker room, to this Commanders team. And Jaden loves his tight ends, right? Like, he has thrown to Zach Ertz so many times.
He loves Zach Ertz.
Fine. Isaiah Likely is 12 years younger, basically 10 years younger, and healthy. And he's been behind Mark Andrews. So this is another sort of unearthed, like, I think you can get value, right? Like, so with Alec Pierce, he is with the Indianapolis Colts. The quarterback situation can be a bit murky. There's Michael Pittman, there's Tyler Warren, there's Jonathan Taylor. And in the same way with Isaiah Likely, there's Mark Andrews. So I think that you are potentially getting two players, but I'll just stick to Likely right now. I think you're potentially getting a player that hasn't had the opportunity to be able to show just how good he is in a full-time role. And I think this is the full-time role that he could really excel in with Jaden Daniels-Kedot.
I think me and you read that differently, honestly. I do think that there are a lot of situations in which you have, like, the guy just needs more opportunities. Like, at certain positions, he's just not going to get there. I don't think that's the case for Isaiah Likely. The same way I don't think that's the case with Pierce. I just don't think they've been good enough to do it. Like, I think Likely to me has just been supremely inconsistent. And I think that here in Baltimore, they've been begging for him to be the reason they can move on from Mark Andrews. He just won't do it. So, like, that's why I always look at it as, like, Mark Andrews. Everybody loves Mark Andrews here, but he's old. And I think everybody's like, knowing the Ravens, you know what kind of organization they are. If they have a guy that's going to be younger and can truly do the step up, you know what they would usually do? They're going to move on from the older guy, right? Like, that's how they do as far as an organization. The fact that they're not concerns me. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's like that to me. But here's the thing: you might 100% be right, because, like, he's shown from the physicality flashes that he shows are incredible. But if you ain't catching consistently, if you ain't blocking consistently,
well, here's also the thing: I think he's a big game player.
I'd probably agree with you. Well,
I think that's, for me, also when I'm thinking about this team, like, that's important to me. I remember the opener against the Kansas City Chiefs where he went off. This is last opener, right? Like, that's one. Then the catch against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who made it at the very end. Yes, the kicker ultimately missed. That's fine. But, like, he made that catch. Like, he consistently comes up in big moments. I need more of those players. I think Isaiah Likely checks that box for me. And that's a big piece that I don't think people are thinking about. They see, like, his route running, his ability to catch, etc. It's when he does it, I think he steps up in big moments. And he's only 25. Like, I'm a big Isaiah Likely fan.
I think there's a lot to that. But once again, I go back to that physicality and his ability, because I also look at that offense and I'm saying that, like, that's just mean. I'm not going to say
that. Fair enough. Fine.
I think he's open. I think he's open some of the times, because I also think that they care more about Mark Andrews, and they care more about Zay Flowers, and they care more about the other guys. And it's like, okay, here you go. But I'm saying that, like, if you cut, there's a difference between being the guy who shows up when he's getting opportunities to being the guy. And now everyone's looking at you, buddy. And can you get open when there's no one looking at you? And that's my thing. Is it, like, I see a lot of dudes are, like, amazing second tier guys, right? Or, like, amazing, like, hey man, if you're a compliment to this dude and I can rely on those moments, like, if I'm Baltimore, I love the idea of an Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews together. You're just not going to do it because the amount of money you're going to have at that tight end position. Like, but the idea that you have both of those guys together is fucking awesome. It's sick. Like, you have the physicality of Isaiah Likely, but you have then the consistency of Mark Andrews. Although, if we want to look at big moments, Isaiah Likely has absolutely shown up more than Mark Andrews recently. It's just I don't know, man. I get what you're going for. I just think there's a difference sometimes between, like, I see some guys that show flashes, and it's like, oh man, they need some more. They need either better guys around them, or they need to be able to, like Frankie Louvu. How high wasn't Frankie Louvu? It's like you can see Louvu on that defense and be like, no one's hiding him. He's not hiding behind anybody. Like, he's there. It's just he needs more opportunities, or he needs somebody else around him. He needs better players. And I'm like, I need that guy. I want that guy to get it. When you look at like Dorrance Armstrong in Dallas, it's like, all right, you're never going to be first fiddle because Michael Parsons is there. But yo, I see you actually eat sometimes on your own because you're starting, right? Like, I see that kind of stuff, and I'm like, all right, I want to get this. When you, I almost collapsed when you said Pierre Garçon, because that motherfucker was filthy in Indianapolis. Like, he was filthy in Indianapolis before he had to walk. Like, he did look like the natural progression from the Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne thing. Like, he looked that good, and he was the guy, right? He was the guy at one point. So, like, that's what I look at. So, like, I understand what you're saying, and I think that with that, if I saw value in the sense that they were going to be cheap, then yeah, I take flyers on that kind of stuff. But if they're not, because I do think that there's a market kind of building for both of those names. They're like really high on that free agency list. I just don't think you're getting a value or you're getting a deal there. I think they have to work out.
Right. And they have to, right? But that's part of the swings we've talked about Adam Peters taking. This is also part of the fireworks that we're maybe projecting. I'm projecting out. Perhaps I think you can pull both those deals off. And then there's also this third person that I think you can pull a deal off, and this constitutes all the fireworks, just to be clear. And it's going to be Quay Walker. That's the linebacker that I'm looking at as the off ball. I think he is supremely athletic. I think he's incredibly fast. I think that he has great instincts. Is he a bit jumpy? Yes. That's why he's not getting the amount that Devin Lloyd is going to get this coming off season. But at his profile, he's going to be 26 years old. Right? Like, you have Jordan McGee as well that you have hopes for. You still have draft picks that you could work with. Is Bobby coming back? Right? Like, Quay Walker, for me, checks all those boxes. Devin Lloyd is the swing. He is going to be minimum $20 million a year. Right? Quay may not necessarily be that. And also, when we look at the draft, I'm cheating a little bit over here, but when you look at the draft, there are a number of off-ball linebackers that are getting excellent grades right now. So what that means is you can potentially leverage that against some of these guys and be able to get a few million off of the final deal, right? So, like, that to me is very important. And I think Quay is the type of player that can help lead this new defense under Durante Jones in the right direction. So I think Quay Walker in particular, with the contract amount that I'm thinking, which is going to be 10 to 13 a year, like, that fits for me. K-Dot.
Can't disagree. Yeah, I mean, Quay Walker's got to be. I mean, as far as the linebackers out there, there is one guy that I'm partial to, linebacker wise, that I do, like. I think more people are talking about Lloyd than the other Devin
Bush. It was the other guy I was thinking about.
That's the one that I'm like, if Bobby's not coming back, like, if it's going to be gone, like that. That's and if we're not going to do my boy Sonny, like, then when you look at his stats, when you like really look at his stats and you look at like his PFF grade, like, across the board, you start seeing some crazy shit. Don't get me wrong, I know that defense is sick, but him as an individual on that team is where I start looking. And see, this is what I'm saying, is like, I'm looking at dudes that, like, I like the dudes that people aren't talking about as much as I think they need to be talking about them. And like, I'm hearing Bush might land around 12 mil, and I'm like, huh? Like, I like that number.
Leader of an excellent defense. Yeah.
I like that number, and I do hate that I'm hearing more and more like Dallas is starting to become enamored with him. I'm like, I don't want that. But like, Quay Walker to me, is that. But let me ask you this, because I guess it would also mean what your definition of fireworks would be. Of the three, my three and your three, who do you think has more fireworks?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so reviewing your three, you have Ayuk, Hendrickson, and name your third one more time.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Elijah Vera Tucker. I think mine represent the fireworks just because of the just because pass catchers tend to be the more sexy type. Like, right? So Alec Pierce would represent the biggest wide receiver deal of the market in its totality, right? Like Brandon Ayuk might be the more intriguing one, might be the better one, frankly, considering his relationship with Jaden and his age still fits, right? Like what we're trying to do, right? But that plus Isaiah Likely, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, this offense should be absolutely unbelievable because now you have this, like, that's just how free agency works, right? Like, I think that's why mine would represent the fireworks. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I'm taking bigger swings in the sense of the things that I think most people don't think are going to be accurate or the things that I think people are overlooking to some degree. Although Hendrickson is just a Hendrickson move. I don't want to put Hendrickson on the list, God, honest to God. Like, it's just you need an edge. He's the best edge. I get what you're saying. It's fireworks in the sense of monetary, like money spent. Like, no doubt. And there's going to be, those will be the ones that are on the flash on the headlines. Those will be the ones that people are playing Madden, like, oh, yeah, I got these guys.
Right.
I just don't, I think there's swings in a direction that feel a little, I don't know. I just don't love them. I don't love them.
Fair enough. We're also going to do a free agency predictions episode once it finally gets to that time. So once we get a little more information as well, these are our top 3 free agents as of right now, right?
I think one of us is going to be right about this. I think me and you were looking at this offseason kind of some this exercise was good in my opinion. And like, I think I'm more in line with you personally as far as like what I want, but like what I'm saying is like the way I look at this team, the way I look at the front office is I'm usually lockstep in them with in the sense of I think there's a right choice compared to what I want to do. If that makes sense.
There's a right choice versus what you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I want to do might not be the right choice, but it's what I want to do. But I think there's a right choice sometimes, right? And like and that's the way I've always looked at what Adam Peters and those guys are doing. The only one I've ever disagreed with so far is the Marshawn Lattimore. Everything else that has happened so far since they've gotten this organization just felt like the only move to make. It's the only move to make. Like, you got to make that move. That move makes a lot of sense. It's the same way, like, I know a lot of people ain't going to want him, and trust me, you don't not want to see his stats, but Donovan Wilson is going to be somebody that probably Ty's going to get kicked, right? And to me, it's like, all right, does that make a lot of sense to me? I don't love it, but he played better with Dan Quinn. Do you do that? So, like, Frankie Louvu made all the sense in the world. Jeremy, there were some things that make all the fucking sense in the world. There's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like I'm either going to be like right there with them still, or I think I might just be wrong. And I think that like the thing that scares me is that when I hear those names and I hear Washington, it feels as though we're trying to make headlines. We're not trying to win. We're trying to make headlines. And
there's some PTSD involved. Certainly.
Might be, but I do like I was thinking about when you were saying it. I was thinking about other teams that I know that do splashes like that because the difference is, but because I don't look at it the same way I would look at what Dan Snyder would do. What Dan Snyder would do is if both those guys were 10 years older, then we do it.
Of course,
right? So like it's not that. It's not trying to find guys in their prime. I just don't want to overpay for talent
and so
be locked in.
And it was important to me that the guys that I was picking were young. Like all of them are going to be 26 next season, right? So like entering their primes,
100%.
Which is why I think that even if the deals are bigger, you're still paying for what they're going to do, and it still becomes worth it. You need a hit, right?
And there's my point. Is like if you don't hit.
That's a swing by definition, right?
Like, I get it. I don't like looking at that fucking swing when it's like we gotta move on from this shit. And it's like I don't want to say I want something that's either gonna cost me a lot less or is more of a proven commodity if I'm looking at wide receiver and what's happening as far as the transition there, right? Like now maybe trust me, I think you, Mark Bullock, some other guys are more sold on Pearson than I am. Coach is probably more sold on Alec Pearson than I am. Like I'm guessing that comment's gonna come. But like if like the uncertainty with that position right now, I need something stable, right? Something stable. Like Lord knows I wish Luke McCaffrey could have just played that entire season. I feel so much better.
He was starting to play better on special teams, and then when he was finally getting reps in the slot, like he was starting to look good. But that's the way it happens. And also,
I think
Yeah, no, continuity is huge. And I also think that Alec Pierce represents the flexibility at the position to go, okay, we can restructure Terry if we want to, or we can draft a round one wide receiver if we want to, or we're good with Alec Pierce and we can put other guys around him that are maybe a bit quicker that, aren't going to be the vertical threat. Like, I think he allows you to do so much moving forward that maybe the other guys don't. Right. So, like, I think
Are
there's
you
that.
kidding us?
Well, he's coming off a pretty bad
I know,
injury.
no
Like,
doubt.
I want it.
But I
But,
say a
like,
year, 12 mil. Because it's the other thing is I'm looking at this and I'm like, I also don't want to bite at every free agent class the same way I don't want to bite at every draft, right? So like
sure.
if I'm not getting Mendoza, I'm gonna skip till next year from a quarterback standpoint because like next year looks fucking amazing, right? So like
Mhm.
and then from a free agency standpoint, I'm looking at a lot of positions right now. I'm like, I think we're reaching. I think that there are some guys that if there was another free agent class, that we wouldn't really care about these guys, but now we really care. There's not a lot of guys. It's like
For
I don't want
what
to be
for
that
what
guy.
it's worth, I think I do think that there is some by definition free agency is reaching. Like
Yeah,
it just is. Yeah, no, it's not
but
great.
like the
It's not
Quay
what you
Walker
want to
thing,
be.
I feel like linebackers got some like fireworks and dudes that are going
There's
to
some
come to
good
play.
ones. There are
Yeah,
some really, really good ones, and
yeah,
some really
linebackers
good
the
ones
one.
in the draft as well. And by the
Mm-hmm.
way, and just to keep it fair, right? Like I love Caleb Downs. That would be my choice to pick 7 overall. As these draft scouts, draft nicks, etc., are looking at these safeties, more and more are coming into the top 100, top 50
Yep.
even, right? So
Yep.
like that has to be factored in. Like
Has to be.
we happen to be in a rich draft for positions we need. It would be great to
Exactly.
get a couple more picks.
Exactly.
It would be great to get a
This is what I'm
couple more
saying.
picks.
There are some positions right. That's why I love your Quay Walker pick. I think that they're right now. There are certain positions you should really be splash around, motherfucker. Like there's some positions you can flat because I'm like, these some guys that shouldn't be available. They're available right now, just because the way things kind of worked out. And same with and I think the draft is deep. I think the draft is deepest position, man, and it's position we really need. I mean, we need all of them,
Mhm.
but we really need these.
Right. Any final thoughts here before we move to the comment mailbag?
Now,
Excellent exercise. And with that, we go over to the comment mailbag featuring this
God
intro
damn it,
here.
it won't scroll. I'm literally, I can't. It's the comment mailbag time, motherfucker.
Hey, it's the comment mailbag beginning with
I want to scroll.
Martin Collins. Shout out. Also, the halftime show was the bomb. Now, this does imply there was another comment, right? Because he begins with also, but the halftime show was the bomb. Once again, Bad Bunny absolutely crushed Kid Out. As I look for Martin Collins' other comment. Go ahead.
Bad Bunny was a shit. I've enjoyed the conversation with white people over the course of the last couple of weeks. They've still like they don't know quite how to be comfortable with what happened. Like even the liberal ones are like, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I would have loved to understand what it was, but I liked it, you know. And you're like, you didn't like it. You didn't like it. I know you didn't like it.
Here's Martin Collins again. Do you both feel positive about these new hires in reference to the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, David Blau, and Durante Jones, respectively? I really like them. I feel David is going to be a positive for Jaden, and Durante is going to use our existing defensive players, getting the maximum out of their attributes. So optimism for Martin Collins. Your reaction, K-Dot?
Yeah, we did the episode. I think we both feel pretty good about both these moves. I was also thinking when you were talking about quarterback, Blau can be backup, right?
I don't see why not. He's only 30.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, dude, son. Like, what are we doing? Like, you were just playing. Like, just go.
By the way, speaking of listening to the New England Patriots episode where I was like, oh, the coaching, like, I don't know, because 1 through 53, Sam Hartman, when he came up, like, you and I both knew it was just over. Like, I know he's under contract right now, but if David Blau went up against Sam Hartman in that little net drill, or if they were to play a preseason game, I like David Blau.
I'm not doing that yet. I'm not
Oh,
off that.
oh, yet, as in there is going to be a time where you project this out. Like, I'm doing it now. David Blau would be better than Sam Hartman. It just is what it is.
Look, man, I'm just saying the same way. Like when you're in Clarendon and you see that girl over there in that corner, and you're like, you know what? This guy, you know, I'm kind of enamored.
That's not
a lot of things going past. Like she might have said she voted for Trump 4 times. You're like, what the 4 times? How'd you do that? And you're like, yeah, but.
None of this is true. None of this is true. Martin Collins also goes, we obviously need defense, players in the draft and free agency. So defensive players in the draft and free agency. Also, we need another receiver and running back to complement Jaden Daniels. K-Dot, your reaction.
It's like when she tells you like she only dates brown
Okay,
guys.
nope. React to the comment.
What does that mean?
Okay.
I don't even know what the comment was.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to read it again. We obviously need defensive players in the draft and free agency. Also, we need another wide receiver and running back to complement Jaden Daniels.
We've got one running back.
Sounds like we need everything. Yeah, we've only got the one.
Yeah, but as far as like dudes to bring, I thought we do like I'm brain is scrambled.
That's fine.
We didn't do dudes that we would bring back today.
No, not yet. And so that's the thing. We have not mentioned free agents that could still come back. An example being Bobby Wagner, right?
An example to me right now is Chris Rodriguez.
Exactly. Yep. Because I would. Because
I want him back. I still want another running back, and that's the only other guy I'm bringing back, unless Eckler wants to come back, and I actually would entertain it. But the Bobby and Rodriguez are the two that really stand out to me.
Yeah. No, same here, by the way, on both those names. Those are the ones that stand out to me. Another name to look out for in free agency is Rachaad White, another Arizona State player that has on his Instagram reels, stories, whatever it is, like posted.
I really do think it's going to be White and Ayuk, man. I really
him and Jaden together, right? So like there is a very strong possibility. In fact, Rachaad White and Brandon Ayuk, as Kata just said, are here with Jaden Daniels.
I think it's a huge swing. I think that we either have one of the most fun offenses in the league, or you've just hired an entire underruling class to undermine everything about David Blau.
That's why I'm a bit nervous about that whole thing. And another reason that I think Alec Pierce would be great, because there's no sort of affiliation with it.
Yeah, because he's scrappy and he's a great locker room guy.
Oh my God, the one time I pick a white wide receiver. Here's Martin Collins, who goes, what about David Bailey? I have had a chance to look at David Bailey just a little bit. That spin move is ferocious. Pretty exciting. We do need an edge rusher. Kid, out your reaction.
I'm not as big on Bailey as I am on some of the other guys.
Bane?
I like Bane, but I'll tell you overall, I like even if you gave me Bailey or Bane, I do prefer Downs and Styles. I prefer them.
Yeah, I do too. Just for what it's worth, because I think those guys, I like the spine of the like. I just like taking care of that whole thing, right? Like the edge rushers, I do think that there are enough in free agency that it could be serviceable for a year, and then if you really want to go for it, you can get it the next year. I don't need to do it. I get it though. Like some of these guys are phenomenal. We talk about the depth, and here's Coach Lombard who goes, the question is, how far would you trade down? Because you and I had mentioned the possibility of trading down. How far would you trade down to? Would it be pick 10? Would it be pick 20? How many blue chip picks are there in this draft class? K-Dot, your reaction.
I don't know. And I even hate the fact that I even say blue chip. I fucking hate that shit. You don't know.
I know. It sort of is a coach-ism that you and I have taken on.
I don't want to do that. But I think you hit or you don't hit. And in my opinion, there are few ever real guarantees coming out of a draft. Every once in a while, you just got a guy and you're like, yeah, this guy's not gonna miss. Like you just know. I don't ever feel that way. No, I'm not gonna say that. I don't feel that way about a lot of the guys in this particular draft. And some of the dudes that I do feel good about are not necessarily going to be in the top 10 that I'm seeing right now. I'm looking at I think I can pick in the top 20 and be okay. And I think that I from a blue chip standpoint, I just want guys looking at the roster and this team that can start and make a difference. I would love, and I think everybody here wants somebody special because we're missing somebody special. Mm-hmm. But you don't know when special is really going to be there unless you're picking like top 3 or you just got this feeling there's some dude that just kind of works out for you. So like you take shots at it. Could Downs be that guy? Maybe. Could Sonny Styles be that guy? Maybe. But like if I'm going to stick at 7, if I stay at 7 and Downs is still there, I'm probably picking Downs. If I'm at 7 and somebody's willing to trade me back to maybe 15, I do that and I pick Styles, and I'm very happy to get him and another player.
Ooh, so there are a lot of around Styles being with Dallas at pick 12.
That's gonna fuck Washington. God damn it!
So I know this is just how it goes. What I would say is, Coach, I am willing to trade down. I love Caleb Downs, just to be clear. So it would take a little bit for me to trade down, assuming Caleb Downs is available. If I were to trade down, I'm willing to go down as low as probably 11, just to make sure that we're picking our player ahead of Dallas. That's important to me. And I would entertain Jermod McCoy, corner from Tennessee, who did not play last year due to injury, but my, oh my, he is spectacular. He is young. And I think his instincts for the ball, when we talk about turnovers, like Jermod McCoy is someone to look out for. I know that we ended up getting the LSU safeties coach. Apologies, don't have his name in front of me right now, but we hired him recently. And Mansour Delane is the number one corner in this class based on what a lot of people are saying. Jermod McCoy is the one for me, though. Like, I think he is going to be an outstanding pro. And I think people are just looking into that injury a little too much as of right now. We'll see about the combine, though. A lot of people are excited about him, K-Dot.
I can't get there on corner.
Fair. No, honestly,
They've
fair.
spent entirely too much draft capital recently, and I need to see Mikey Sanders either work out or not.
Yeah, and we like Trey Amos, but once we cut...
I'm not worried about Trey. Well, maybe I am, so going into year 2 like Mikey did, motherfucker.
Well, thankfully, that's where you would hope the new coordinator with the coaching staff, like, that makes a difference, but we'll see if this
Mikey's got to set up. Mikey's got to set up. Mikey's got... And the thing with Mikey is I want to give him every opportunity to do so.
Well, it's just going to be Mikey and Trey under contract from last season that played meaningful snaps, right? Because Marshawn Lattimore... Look, it's the worst kept secret. Like, he's going to get cut. We're going to save $18.5 million on that. By the way, we're going to be third in cap space once that happens. We jump the Jets.
And I always re-sign Noah Igbenogany.
I like Noah.
I make no apologies. I like Noah in the slot.
Yeah. Here is, I believe that covers the Martin Collins comments, and we began with Coach over there. Coach had another one. Here it is. Curious if you guys have a top 5 Super Bowl halftime show list. My all-time favorite is the 90s rap hip-hop ensemble. K-Dot, over to you, because for me, I don't really remember a lot of these. I remember like the Bruno Mars ones. And of course, Bad Bunny. I will continue to think about it right now, though. Go ahead.
No, somebody was a little too much under the influence of a few things. And, you know, when the girls in the corner talk, I only date brown guys. And you're like, why? Why do you only date? Is it? Am I now a fetish? Am I not a fetish? Like, what is this? I don't get it. Like, is that a double S? And again, you're not worried about the halftime show. You're worried about other things. I get it. Look, there's only one answer. And I just had this conversation actually last night at dinner. The only answer for the best, there's only one number one halftime show, and it's Prince. And if you think anything other than that, you're a fucking idiot. It's universal. God made it rain during Purple Rain. God decided who had the number one. He didn't lip sync. The motherfucker's out on stage in the rain on a like a Mylar fucking stage with 6-inch heels on, right? What was it? I forget who this was. Prince is the only dude, the only man that can steal your bitch with her shoes on.
What a line.
It's great, and it's true. Rest in peace, the man. And he had twins, dancing twins in heels on that stage. There's no, it's universal. But I will say I did love the hip hop melody, but that was just coded for us in this age group. And if you're like us and like 10 years older, that was just for us more than anything. Although I don't understand, the game should have been there. The game should have been there for that. I'm just saying.
Coach, I'm going to have to continue thinking about the top 5 Super Bowl halftime shows because I'm not very good at remembering what the halftime shows were. So that's my bad. But here's Andrew Lally.
Can I also say, if at any circumstances I hear a top 10, maybe top 15, and you say Black Eyed Peas, you're done to me. You're dead. You're dead to me.
I don't think you need to worry about that. Here's Andrew Lally, who goes, Church of Tress Way can ride for another year. LFG. Tressway, of course, re-signing to a 1-year deal. Church of Tressway being the fantasy football name that Andrew Lally has had for any number of years now. K-Dot, your reaction?
Yeah, which also goes into another dude that I want to make sure that Tyler Ott.
He's under contract, just to be clear.
Is he? Okay, make sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe he is. Hold on, let's see. Tyler Ott. I need to double check. I thought maybe I saw
I've
him.
liked his work.
Yes, he is. Yes, indeed, he
All right,
is.
good.
He is under contract. Sorry about that. And of course, Dressway under contract. Okay, so here is Rennell Winchester going regarding Deron Payne. I did hear DC Jones say that we do need to have a balance of vets too. I think that was as close as he was going to say to open that can of worms during his press conference. I remember reading this comment, K-Dot, in the moment and going, DC Jones just sounds like a fantastic name for Durante.
Doesn't it?
Defensive coordinator, Jones, DC Jones just sounds great. I think we should call him DC Jones moving forward, but go ahead.
DC Jones sounds like a great character in like a 1970s blaxploitation.
Sounds fantastic, but I remember reading it from Rennell.
DC Jones. You know what?
Jones.
DC Jones would also steal your bitch with his shoes.
100%.
That's DC
100%.
Jones, man.
That's
Yeah,
DC
his
Jones.
pimp hand's strong, and I want that coaching the defense, man.
That's DC Jones. That's DC Jones right there. Man, that's a great name. Here is JWork94444. Going, man, I'm trying not to get too hype. I think Coach Jones, DC Jones, will finally be the answer to all the whys. We play behind the sticks every third down. Can't turn over the ball. Our zone coverage can't pass a defender to another man, etc. There's just so many things we can point at. Maybe he will fix this Mike Sanders still funk. He really, really seems like a teacher for a coach, man. Keep up the work, fellas, and keep being yourself with us viewers, and we appreciate it all. No need for me to say that, JWork. Clearly, being a fan of the show, we greatly appreciate that. K-Dot, your reaction.
Yeah. I mean, I do love anytime I hear the coaches like talking about that teaching aspect. Anytime I hear them talk about teaching, anytime I hear that they coach high school football, I'm usually in love from a coaching standpoint. Also, I was thinking if DC Jones is who we're going to call a defensive coordinator, I'm thinking about the whitest name possible for Blau. I mean, he does magic. Yeah. Is it like Davy Blau, DC Jones, Davy Blau, like
DC Jones and Davy Blau,
Davy Blau.
We'll work on that. And here's Vindo going still out on Ben Sinnott. Njoku would be a nice upgrade. They're great hands. Hold on. Njoku would be a nice upgrade. They're great hands. Can be a great red zone threat also. Getting rid of no huddle opens up the game manager trait in Jaden's bag. K-Dot, your reaction.
Good with that. I watched a bunch of things about Njoku the other day. I always liked dude, but Coppets.
I think he's going to get franchise tagged.
I don't know what Atlanta's doing with anything right now.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I think like they're at a point where I think they want to kind of move on to something else.
I remember we were both intrigued by the Michael Penix pick because they had also signed Kirk Cousins. We're like, wait, they're buying the Green Bay model. Like, this is an intriguing, it's new, it's different. Like, maybe this could work. It is not. And now it is very difficult to see. They fired Raheem Morris after he went on a little bit of a heater at the very end of the season. And their GM has also got it's a mess in Atlanta right now. It's hard to say what they're going to do.
I think they fucked up by firing Raheem, especially with how hard the team played at the end. They were winning.
They love him. You hear Drake London talk about him.
I just didn't get it. I thought it was the wrong move. I just think Arthur Blank's getting old and starting to feel that mortality. Yeah, but I think he made the wrong choice. I really do think he made and I think Raheem actually made himself get much closer to potentially getting the Super Bowl really soon than being down in fucking Atlanta. I don't know. Like Njoku and Kyle Pitts are two very interesting guys in the sense of like the physicality always being there, and it just never felt as though they got there. It felt like Kyle Pitts turned a corner, but it could be a 1-year blip outside of his rookie season, the first like 2 years, of course. But like Njoku is just that motherfucker is so oh my god, he's a specimen.
He is. No, that he is.
But
here,
like DK Metcalf of tight end.
Imagine. Pretty sweet.
People don't talk about that enough that Seattle jettisoned DK Metcalf and won a fucking Super
Bowl. And won a Super Bowl. Rennell Winchester goes, DC Jones. Sounds to me that he is going to be a head coach when/after he succeeds here. I hope we can keep him for a few seasons. Pay Durante Jones well. K-Dot, your reaction.
Has anyone asked him why he hasn't been? I feel like, or what, like, has there been opportunities that present himself? He's been around long enough.
And it's a good question because he hasn't actually been a head coach in high school or college either.
Right. So
I'm
curious about that.
Yeah, no, I would be curious too. Because based on that, I would make the assumption it's not an aspiration. But I just
Right.
right. So like
Which makes
that's
me even happier.
yes, because if he ends
We
up
have
being
our
great,
spags. Like,
right? Yeah, and he just stays, and you just keep him well paid, and like that's it,
he's happy
right?
doing this.
So that's the hope, but it's a good point. Like I don't know if that is ultimately an aspiration of his. We'll see.
Right.
Here's Renell Winchester again. I heard a lot of people complain about the Super Bowl, that it was boring, that the quarterback sucked. On and on. For me, it was an exciting edge of my seat game. New England kept Seahawks offense out of the red zone every time. I kept waiting for New England to make a touchdown and bring the score close. Drake May, I was not expecting to have the worst game of his career, so I kept waiting for the Patriots to make some big plays and put points on the board. Maybe some people just want to see shootouts, but I love a good defensive game. So I got to say, I think Kadon and I are in agreement there that we love watching good defense at the biggest stage. I know a lot of, sort of hard to say fans, but like a lot of spectators of the game are into the points. A lot of casual fans are into the points, right? Like it is obviously an appeal of it. But those junkies, like it sounds like you are, Renell Winchester, like Kadon and I are, like you appreciate the difficult things, and playing good defense in this era is very, very difficult. And it was awesome to see. Go ahead, Kadon.
I was with an ex-girlfriend the other day, and I'm polyamorous, if you don't know. And she was asking like, "Hey, would you ever get back into monogamy if like you found the right person?" And I was like, "I like variety. Same way I like my football. I like to see different things at times, you know? Like the same way I want to see a defensive struggle where motherfuckers are punching each other in the mouth. I get to see Christian Gonzalez be a goddamn beast at times. It's the same way I like sitting on my motherfucking couch and cha-ching, cha-ching, because they just keep scoring. Like, you need everything. If you get too much of the one thing, you're going to get bored of it. It's why I actually think there's too much football. We need less, actually, in my opinion. They need to delete a game. No more Thursday nights. Please stop. You're ruining lives, man. You're ruining fucking lives. And no more Saturday games. It's just stupid, too.
Yeah. And also if you got rid of Thursday games, then just the wait for Sunday would be that much sweeter.
It's the way it
and
used to
better.
be. The thing that sucks is like, as a non-married man, and nobody that's in a committed monogamous relationship, as I just said, I do remember the times where I was a married man and I wasn't monogamous. That shit made life hard. I can't imagine having kids. Like, you got shit to do. Like, I want to watch football. Like, that's a shoo-in for a divorce.
Sure. Here is Spencer Brudig, former co-host of the show,
Spence.
going, "Let's go District Divided." Just checking in. Greatly appreciate it. Over there, Spencer, and shout out Opal, his newborn, who
Oh,
is a few months old right now. So,
I love that name. It is the most hipster fucking name I've heard in quite some time.
well, it makes a lot
But
of
it's a
sense,
great,
right?
yeah, come on. It's him. But it's like, oh, but that's a great name. I fucking love that name. That's awesome.
Opal, shout out Opal. And here is, let's
It's like
go.
Opal drives an Edsel. Like,
Let me just okay. Let's get, oh, here we go. Let's go with Ridge, where your helmet at. Shout out.
oh,
There are a
shit.
couple over here. But here is the first one. What would y'all make of the playoffs being intra-conference from the start? Reseeded going into wildcard round in some way, there are many ways that could do this. It would give us a fresh slate of playoff head-to-heads to look forward to. I feel like I've seen the same matchup a million times now, and I'm getting tired of it. The last four, for example, this year, Patriots versus Broncos, got new faces, but tired of those two logos going off against each other in the AFC Championship. Seahawks Rams, on the other hand, basically the de facto Super Bowl. Three of those four possible matchups, recent Super Bowl repeats. Also, the two best teams did not play each other in the championship, and that needs to change, in my opinion. Imagine Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes around 5, but in the Super Bowl. Right now, that's impossible. Or two divisional rivals like Eagles-Cowboys Super Bowl. We'd kill ourselves. Or just some crazy shit like a Vikings-Browns wildcard matchup. I know the NFL is too conservative to make this happen, but it would be sick. K-Dot, your reaction.
Two questions. Number one, I'm going to ask two questions. I got one question. I'm going to say something on the second question. How old is he?
Ridge, where your helmet at?
Yeah, roughly.
My age.
Saw him post something like on a Texas campus in Austin. Watch yourself, boy. Watch yourself. Number 2, did you search for him in the Epstein files?
Well, here's the other one, because he goes, have liberals politicized love
Yep.
the same way conservatives have politicized the flag? Not saying the two are equal, but conceptually, that's the comment from.
There we go.
Which I just think it tied in quite
Also,
well.
that idea is stupid as shit. It's stupid. You don't need to change everything.
I think that there is an intriguing element to it.
I
but
like
I
the
like,
Super Bowl sometimes. It's
just
not
to
the
be
best
clear,
game.
I like the way it is.
I think that I think sometimes when you look back over the course of the playoffs, I think that there's like. I'm okay with the best game not being the Super Bowl.
Well,
I'm legitimately okay with the not game being the Super Bowl.
So
that's fine.
I like when the two best teams go against each other at conference championship weekend, because one of the things that occurs with the Super Bowl is I already know it's more than a game.
Yeah.
Right. Like I know it's
Yeah.
going to be about the commercials. I know it's going to be about the halftime show. I know it's going to be people that don't normally watch football getting
Doesn't feel like
together
football.
and stuff like that. The conference championship weekend
It's football.
It is football nirvana, right? Like that is the pinnacle of it for me. And Bridgewater Helmet and I have discussed this, that we enjoy the conference championship weekend more than the Super Bowl. So when I get Seahawks Rams in that spot, and it's just with football junkies, like that is perfect for me. So I like it the way it is right now.
Same here. I like that 2-week gap, and then you play this spectacle of thing with the commercial breaks so fucking long as shit, the halftime show, everything feels disjointed. Like you're still enjoying football, and it's the last time you're going to see it forever, so you really savor it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you love football, you've enjoyed the previous few weeks more than you're ever going to enjoy that game.
Hey, man.
Unless you're a fan of one of the two teams, and that's for you.
Exactly. Man, when the Commanders lost, and I know you had a different perspective because you were like, dude, house money game, what an unbelievable ride, etc. I missed the Chiefs-Bills game. I was so devastated with the loss, even though like I should have seen it coming, that I straight up missed it. I saw the highlights the next morning on ESPN. I was like, oh wow, what a game. Like I was just so distraught.
No. And the thing that Ridge is not giving is, if I see Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City anywhere near the playoffs, I am stopping everything. Which goes back to stop taking over my whole fucking week. I can't see family. I can't live a life. Like, what are you doing?
Here's Tony. Shout out Tony OG. All right, Amit, you nailed some team history last year. What are you going to bless us with this offseason? I don't know yet, Tony, what I'm going to bless you guys with this offseason, but it will be something. And I appreciate you bringing that up. And I will let you know I am fleeing the country, as K-Dot knows, briefly for a little bit, but I'm bringing my stuff with me. They're allowing me to do that. And maybe something will come to me while I'm traveling. So stay tuned. We will see. Go ahead, K-Dot. Seems like you want something there.
Some of us are allowed to freely travel because they have connections within the government. And I mean, you have been building something. I like to call it the Fourth Reich.
Okay. Well, here's Jim Sleazy. Dot is wrong.
Oh,
again.
motherfucker.
Jealousy is a motivating force in competition. You have to hate in others' successes. Schadenfreude is even better. That is Jim Sleazy.
Sleazy, man. You know I don't really like you, but I don't say this like knowing that I don't like you. I'm not saying when I say this, it's not leveled with the vitriol you think I have for you. But that's some bitch made behavior. I'm just saying that's just the identity of a bitch. Like you can hate, but if you hate because I'm jealous of him, you a bitch. Like that's just.
Well, I say envy because envy implies anger.
I'm not saying like when I like Kendrick hating Drake. It's not. I don't hate your success. I hate the way you look. I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. Right. Like that's cool. Live in that. I hate you for being you. Not I hate you for being a winner because I wish I was one. That makes you a loser and a little bitch.
Here's Coach Lombard who goes, Will Campbell definitely has short arms. He also has issues with his feet, his legs, and his technique. That's pretty scathing. It's a
Yeah,
three-year
it's a three-year
eval, and some
eval.
of that stuff is coachable and fixable. He just roasted his entire body in facets. Credit to a generational Seahawks defense. Here is the next piece, which is now on Tyler Shuck, because I think it auto-corrected to Shuck when we were reading a comment last time. Because I like Tyler Shuck. I'd take him over Jackson Dart. I think Ben Sinnott can catch passes, and my pro comp for him was Mark Bavaro. Cliff is either an idiot or Ben has a more limited skill set. We'll see this season which is the case. K-Dot, your reaction.
I'm in the bag for Ben, but I was told about 4 weeks ago that Ben's an idiot. I don't love that I heard that, but I did hear that. I heard somebody explain. I don't know how they would know this, and I think it's bullshit. And I shouldn't be saying this into a microphone, but they said that it's one of those things where Cliff would hear Ben, so that fucking sort of all right, you just keep going, and which is why you see the one-on-ones and Hard Knocks with Ben with Zach, because Cliff ain't fucking with him.
That's phenomenal. Here is Rennell Winchester. This is in relation to Cliff Kingsbury.
No.
I think the why, because K-Dot was going, why? If I understand your question correctly, is because Cliff pulled an attitude and would not make changes that were requested of him. JD5 was continuing to be put in harm's way, and DQ had enough. He pulled JD5 and tossed Cliff at the earliest opportunity. Protect the asset, end of story. Attitude could include not being willing to push JD5 to make changes in his play either. I wonder if this is why Cliff did not get a head coach or OC job, was because others saw this attitude also. K-Dot, your reaction.
I think that's nicely said. I'm not going to delve into it anymore. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep screaming why into a microphone. Although me and you have talked about this or texted about this a little bit off. I'm over. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm never going to get the answers I want on it. But I do think I did predict on here early on that Cliff probably wouldn't get a job. Yeah.
Yep. And he's with the Rams as an assistant, I suppose. Rams looking for an OC. But,
which is, I think the Rams have this program where if you're a coach with a middling reputation, you can pay them to help fix it.
Actually, no. Actually, I think that's real. I do think that's real. And here is, let's go with, tell you what, let's go with Coach Lombard one more time. Drake May definitely choked in the moment and was given zero help from his coaches, weapons, or protection.
Agreed.
That got 3 thumbs up with Tony. Shout out Tony OG going, I'm just glad Drake May did not win a Super Bowl before our guy Jaden Daniels. Life would be difficult if that happened. 2 comments for you to react to, K-Dot.
Number one, I've been seeing a lot of lists, and people are still naming Jaden the best quarterback out of that 2044 class, especially after what Drake May just did. So if anybody's feeling that or that whole rivalry thing, I have been seeing that more and more. Yeah, my biggest thing with the person I was probably the most disappointed in, outside of Will Campbell, because goddamn, man, you just forgot. Josh McDaniels is not getting enough smoke.
Yeah, I think that's fair. There was seemingly no adjustment. I also think
the running backs out of the backfield was there all night long.
Is that on Drake to hit them?
It's that they weren't going out to the flat to do it. I think that he was so Ramondre's in there more than Travion is because he can do better with the blocking, and Drake was getting his ass whooped. But there is an element of, okay, the blitz is coming, it's right there, just kind of start throwing right behind the blitz. You want to throw on that side, usually something. I just don't think Josh, he adjusted in the third quarter a little bit, and then they went right back to the bullshit.
Here's Steezo 046 going, K-Dot is hilarious. There weren't any ghosts. They were there, was the direct quote from K-Dot. Steezo absolutely loved that. 3 other people loved it as well with the 3 thumbs up over there. K-Dot, your reaction?
Every time I think about that stuff like that, like Drake May and everybody, and people say ghosts or anything, I think about how we have all these criticisms and stuff from where we sit. But then I think about, as a grown-ass man, I'm 37 years old today, how afraid I'd be if I was Drake May standing there behind that goddamn line of scrimmage. And it puts it all in perspective. I'm like, I'm a bigger bitch than you. I ain't gonna criticize too hard. Like, I get it, man. That's some hard shit. I couldn't do it.
I can. And it was awesome to watch because I had to hear about how Drake May was the second coming, how he was top 5, how he was. I was easy on you. I was easy on you earlier, and it was great to see, honestly. Also for the reason Tony mentioned, because there is that 2024 QB draft class thing going on. They have been successful. A lot of them have already been amazingly successful, and when you compare this draft class to the other ones, fabulous. And Jaden's attitude is probably the best one. I love these guys. They're all awesome. Like, we're all repping the draft class. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, Jaden's lawyer. I'm just like, no, screw these guys. I want you to be the one that succeeds the most out of all of them. But yeah, it was just an entertaining moment. But Drake, I think Drake's going to go on to have a really, really awesome career, just to be clear. But it was a nice little moment for me. K-Dot, go ahead.
My bold prediction out of this, there are going to be at least 3 Hall of Famers out of that draft class at quarterback.
Three is...
I used to say 2. I'm going 3. And okay. I'm just glad y'all keep talking. JJ just gets to slip behind me. We're just going...
Lest we forget. And here is the Nathan Perry to conclude the comment mailbag going, I disagree with you guys. Football is not over. As long as we have you to listen to, football is alive and well. Keep us entertained and share this shit. Shout out Nathan. Shout out Ref the District. It was a very, very kind comment. And as he said, share this shit. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is the birthday boy, K-Dot. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, notification bell, and please in the comments wish K-Dot a very, very happy birthday. He does a lot for this podcast. Yeah. All the graphics you see, all the AI, it's not AI, just to be clear. He actually just does it all himself. Like all the production stuff, that's him. And so please drop a note for him because he is the podcast essentially. So, and if you enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do. And K-Dot.
Thinking about Nathan's comment right there. I think football I think I can objectively say, I don't know if you feel the same. This is the worst episode we've done in like months.
Easily. Offseason episode 1. You see that at the top?
I'm just saying, stick around. It'll get better. But right now, yeah, dog. Leave us be. Yeah, and it's shit.
Share this shit. We will be doing this next episode from 2 different countries. So we'll see how that whole thing goes. You may get a solo episode from me, a solo episode from K-Dot, or otherwise we will see you Friday, 2 p.m. as we always do. So until then, take it easy, everybody, and thanks for listening to what has to be our worst episode in quite some time. So until then, take it easy.
Wait until my entire episode is about.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.